Coming to you live from the world's worst escape room, it's this week's Apocalypse. I'm your co-host, Kevin Lennon. With me, as always, is John Ferris. John, how are you doing today? I'm being very careful with my words and what I say, because forces or people may be listening. We can't get out, John.
No. Seemingly... Yep, if the Amityville Horror House shouted at us right now, we would be screwed.
Yeah, because we couldn't leave if it said, get out.
Get out.
Yeah, we haven't quite figured out how to leave this room. There's I don't know what the theme is in here. If I thought at first it was like Spaceman. You know, there's like astronaut helmets and stuff all over the place, but then it's like got this sort of medieval castle vibe and the stonework and the walls, and there's like a Victorian sort of laboratory with glowing things over there. It's all very like, it's like they got a bunch of scrapper bits from a bunch of other like escape rooms and stuff, and then just sort of chucked them all in together and thought it would work, but they didn't change any of the clues, so I'm really baffled. There is a little microphone here for us to talk to somebody, but they're not talking back.
Great.
And there's a camera over there that's been watching us. I don't really know what to do, John. Now, traditionally, they take away your electronic devices when you go into a place like this, but I managed to smuggle in my phone in a hiding place.
Oh, dear. I'm not going to ask what hiding place.
It's fine. I got most of the candy floss off, so it's fine.
Yes.
Sorry, John, I was hiding it in, my bag of snacks that I brought in with me.
Yes.
It was I had it. What did you think?
Nothing. I'm more concerned if David Lynch finds out we're watching movies on phones, because I'm assuming you're going to come up with a plan here.
And always with the David Lynch and his goddamn high standards, his angry, grumpy old man stuff. Now, I do agree with him to a certain extent. He is right. You should not be watching a feature film on a phone. If you are doing yourself a disservice, really, I think.
Boomer.
More than anything.
Look at you, boomer.
Man, if I would need to be, how old? Much? 40 to 50 years older, I think.
Yeah, but I think the internet culture has changed the meaning of boomer to mean anyone who's 30, like, it's ridiculous.
I'm a millennial, but you were born in like 2011. I'm a millennial. Okay. Yeah, sure you are. Okay, stop coming up with names for generations. It's pointless. They don't exist. It's a fiction. Anyway, John, I have 3 movies about getting out of or being trapped in rooms and trying to get out of them.
Yeah.
If you'd like to sit around the warm glow of my weirdly, I'm kind of, a little digression here. I'm kind of annoyed by the aspect ratio of my phone, because it isn't like, it's like 21:10. Which is annoying.
That's
it's
gonna be frustrating.
It's slightly taller than it should be when it's on its side, and it's very strange. But I think that's like I don't think that's actually the IMAX ratio. I think it's something slightly different than that. I think it's got like, anyway, fuck ratios. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna watch these movies. All right. So I've got 3 of them. So in chronological and the order in which we're going to talk about them order. We have from 1957, 12 Angry Men, directed by Sidney Lumet.
Awesome.
Then we have from 1962 or 63, depending on the source. I wasn't sure about that. Yeah, I think it was 62 is when it really came out. I'm not sure. Directed by Buñuel. We have The Exterminating Angel.
Ooh.
And then from 2004. Extremely far removed.
Bit of a jump there.
Huge goddamn jump. We have Saw, directed by James Wan, who I am 50% fan of. Anyway, John,
is it the James or the Wan part you're a fan of?
We'll get into that later when we talk about it. But let's sit down on the floor, not try to solve any of these puzzles, and just watch these movies, and that'll get us out. All
Sounds
right?
good.
Well, I've just noticed there's a chessboard over there now, but all of the pieces on it are sort of like salt and pepper shakers and a sort of an old sort of Tabasco sauce bottle. I don't know if that's a clue. Like food, chess is...
Or
life
a red herring, maybe? Or
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know, somebody's written the word magnets
And
on
I mean,
the wall.
speaking of red herrings, I don't know what that pile of red herrings, or if they're a clue, or are they just all red herrings?
They missed the metaphor. Someone told them your escape room has to have a whole lot of red herrings in it. And they were like, all right, cool. Right, get the spray paint, lads.
I mean, if anything, this is a good sign that we've been trapped by idiots.
Yeah, I don't know, but I feel like idiots would design the escape room in such a way that you couldn't get out of it because they would fuck it up. Is you're supposed to be able to figure. There's supposed to be a logical chain of reasoning to get out of the goddamn room.
True.
Right? Yeah, I feel like an idiot's going to be the one that, oh no, we forgot to put in the fairy liquid bottle with the secret numbers on it. They'll be fine. Will it? Will it? Will it? I need that fairy liquid bottle. Anyway, John, speaking of fairy liquid bottles.
They have nothing to do with this next film.
They have absolutely nothing to do with 12 Angry Men from 1957, directed by Sidney Lumet. So, John, what did you think of 12 Angry Men?
Awesome. As if you don't know. I absolutely love this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those ones where I could see people kind of watching and going, well, what's the big deal? Like, you know, the story and all's good, and you could kind of think, well, the story's doing all the heavy lifting, the characters and all that, and all that's great. I don't think there's a bad performance in this, and everything about this movie is just works. It just works so well. Yeah. And the direction and the camera work by Boris Kaufman was the cinematographer or director of photography, as you call them back then. Yeah. But for anyone who wants to see what this movie would be like with just having a camera just pointing and like it not really doing anything kind of more than that, there's actually a 1954 version. It was the first version, the telly play, and it's hard to watch.
So it's just like as if you're watching a play from your seat, sort of thing. Yeah.
But it's also, the performances are very wooden as well. You know, like I absolutely adore the characters, and like especially Henry Fonda as Juror 8. He is pitch perfect,
remarkable.
And like I love that he's not. They really avoid trying to make him like the, you know, he's a hero in the sense that he's sticking up for what he believes in and all this, but he doesn't know any more than anyone else until they start talking through it. Like he's just like, I think this man deserves an hour of our time.
Yeah, he's not the invincible action hero protagonist who's rights and righteous in everything they do. He's just like, I'm not sure, and it really isn't cool for us to just get the fuck out of here just because we have other things to do. Because, I guess the whole premise is that they have been through what seems to several of the people in the room to be a pretty open and shut murder case. Yeah. In which whenever this guy gets convicted, he's going to the electric chair. Mm-hmm. He's going to die if they decide he's guilty. And he's like, I can't just throw a man's life away because this guy over here wants to get to the baseball game this afternoon.
That guy. But that's what I love. Like every one of these 12 men has a distinct character, and they act accordingly. Like that guy you're talking about, who just all he wants to do is get out of there quickly to go to his ball game. Yep, he is so flippant. Like he doesn't care about anything else but that. He's so shallow, and he gets called out at it, and it's such a brilliant moment. Like the way this movie escalates is great, and there's a fantastic thing they do with the cameras, where they change the lenses on them, and they also kind of have it kind of, the camera kind of rise up as the movie goes on, and like it makes it feel more and more claustrophobic. And then as well as that, the lighting very clearly gets darker and darker, especially when the storm hits, like kind of towards the latter third. So everything's just getting, like, the room doesn't change, but it feels like it does, and like everything works so well.
It feels like if it's a fucking hot box
Yeah.
This movie is a fucking hot box.
Yeah, and they're all sweating, and it seems to get worse, and it's so like it's so well done. And
yeah, there's this great moment of relief at a certain point when the guy realizes, oh, now that we've turned the lights off, the fan works.
Yeah,
because they must be on the same circuit, and you get this real impression of like tension slightly dissipating at that point because the fan's going now and everyone's relaxing a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's a great sort of like watershed moment in the movie for me, where you're just like, okay, now we're gonna get people really. These people are. It relaxes their emotions a bit for a short time before they rise right the fuck back up again. But it gets a little bit. It allows for this then rational discussion to happen.
Yeah.
Which is the whole film is about instinct and emotion versus rationalizing.
Yeah.
That's like the whole crux of this movie is like
but critical thinking as well. You know, there's a lot of like if you scour the internet or YouTube, you know, there's a lot of like, you know, lawyers or like people who study law or whatever, who will like go into these movies and like pick them apart. And like that's fine. I kind of enjoy things like that, you know. And they will say, oh, like, that would never happen. You can't do this. And he wouldn't have been able to bring the knife in. That's not really the point. And, like, this is, you know, there's a certain level of, you know, it's like a movie made about anything that you're very knowledgeable about. You'll usually be like, that's not the way that works. You know, when you shoot a car's petrol tank, it doesn't explode. Yeah. When they fall off cliffs, they don't explode. And
like Hollywood science, that stuff. Yeah,
you know, I don't think it doesn't ask a lot to kind of suspend your disbelief for this movie, you know. But it's about like everything you mentioned and like really having this like critical thought, not just kind of going with the crowd. And like even the old man, I think's a brilliant character as well. Like when he sides with Henry Fonda quite early on, and his whole reasoning is he was very brave to stand up to everyone, and I think he deserves a chance. So
I think this guy has a point, and we should at least
hear him out. Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm changing my vote so this can keep going because that's the reasonable thing to do.
Yeah.
Whereas Angry Man,
and he's played so fantastically well. Like he is so hateful. Lee J. Cobb is the actor, and oh my god, how did this man not get multiple Oscars or whatever for this? Because he is absolutely tremendous in this.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's like, I don't want to pick favourites because it's really hard. Henry Fonda's brilliant. Lee J. Cobb is brilliant. Fucking Jack fucking Klugman I love him in this film. He's great because he's like this sort of like, you look at him initially and he just seems like he's this quiet, nervous guy, but you learn so much about him. He doesn't have a lot to say, but he's like the crux of it. You know, whenever like it's a guy going on, there's like racist jury. This is kind of how you have to they don't have names, they're all their numbers.
Yep.
But there's like a sort of an overriding sort of character archetype to each of them that helps you distinguish them.
Yeah.
So like there's the racist guy who's just like they're all the same, they're bred like this.
They don't even speak good English.
Yeah, and a guy talking about like people raised in slums, they're just, this is what they're like. And then he's like, I was raised in a slum. Yeah. I live in a slum. You know, and he's like, he's well turned out, he's well dressed, he's got his, you know, his hair slicked back and he's wearing a nice suit and all that, but like he's just like, I'm a poor person. I understand what it's like to live in this neighborhood, and you are judging these people based on that, not by any other standard. And like the point where fucking, and spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. It's hard not to spoil this, but
I can't not. There's just
I'm just going to say right now, if you're listening to this and you have not seen 12 Angry Men, the 1957 version, just stop, go and watch it. It is it is must see movie. It is
so good.
It is wonderful.
There's just a point with a knife.
Yeah.
When a knife is produced and thrown into the table and it's so fucking badass, to be honest. You're not expecting it from the tone of the film, and then his knife just gets thunk into the table, and you're like, Jesus fucking Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And it's there, and it punctuates a point that he hasn't even made yet.
Yeah.
That you suddenly understand completely. And you're like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Maybe the thing they heard in court wasn't entirely accurate.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe that's something to consider.
Yeah, maybe his lawyer's an idiot, and as it goes on, you get like that. That's what I love about it as well. Like, you never find out. You don't know the truth, because that's not the point of the movie either. To know, it is this like, is there reasonable doubt, and each of them has their own like. There's like that very logical kind of guy who's against Henry Fonda's character, who's almost robotic.
Oh, the guy with the penny glasses who's just sitting there. He sits down. He's the one guy who's like, everyone else gets up and walks around and smokes at the window and agitated. He's sitting there with his hands on his lap or his arms folded for almost the entire film, just listening and thinking and being like, well, I don't agree. You know, he's very straight-laced and sensible. And like, he's the one who's left there at the end, sitting across from Angry Guy.
Yeah.
You know, even though Henry Fonda is, for all intents and purposes, sort of our protagonist.
He is, definitely. I would say he is as much a hero as you can get, in the sense that what all he is saying is to give this guy a chance, and it just so happens that every single one of them gets convinced in whatever way. Racist guy just kind of, I love that scene where he just gets beaten, like everyone ignores him to the point that he's just like, once he realizes no one's listening, he's just defeated.
It's the point where even Angry Guy is turning away from him. That's where it becomes really stark. It's like, okay, right, this guy's an angry asshole, but he's not that bad. You know, at least he's not this guy. Is the thing there. Like, you sort of almost become ingratiated to him because you see how it could be worse. Yeah. Because of this other guy who's there, who's a fucking head case. Like, and they do explain why he's angry. You know, they have this picture of him and his son that you see every now and then, and you get that. There's he has sort of a deep-seated sort of
it's just too personal for him. The case is, he's internalized it to the point that he's made his mind up, and like everyone, like you could go through every single character. You could write. I'm sure someone wrote multiple essays on this movie. It's fantastic writing, absolutely wonderful writing. I actually did watch the 1997 version as well, because I was like, I wanted to see how it stacked up against it, because I seen the 1997 version first, and then I went back when I heard that it was a remake of an older movie. The 97 version, it's okay, it has its moments, and they changed things up a bit. They tried to modernize it. It was the same writer actually. Tried to put a bit more diversity in the scenes. There's more there's black people and things like that. It's not just like 12 angry white men. But some of the decisions were a bit strange. Like the racist guy has been replaced by this Black Nation of Islam dude, and it doesn't work as well. I think just the straightforward racist angle works a lot better, and even how they beat him down in this original one. And the second one, he's just stubbornly going, I'll just change my vote anyway. He just goes with the crowd in a way, but he doesn't believe it. Where I don't know, there's even directing wise, it doesn't seem to stack up as well. It seems really chaotic or something, but not purposely chaotic. There's scenes in the 1957 version that are chaotic, but the camera is under control and the scene is under control, and it's the characters who aren't. But and the 97 one's actually directed by William Friedkin, who
the Exorcist guy.
So, he is a talented director.
Not just the Exorcist guy. I mean, he did. I think the French Connection was one of his.
He did. Yeah.
such a good film. Or he did a really good one, actually. Going off on a tangent about William Friedkin here, but just like Killer Joe, he did a few years ago. This really good with Matthew McConaughey in it. Just want to say that's a pretty good movie. You should go watch it.
But I don't think it stacks up. See, when I think the 1957 version is just perfect for what it is. Like it encapsulates everything so well, and it has that thing of every frame is a picture kind of thing. You know, there's never everyone seems so well placed whenever you see like a certain scene happening, or like that scene where you were saying where Henry Fonda like plants the other knife that he bought, stabs the table.
I can't get that out of my head. How fucking it's really cool. There's something really cool about that I just can't get over. It's fucking great.
But I have that image in my head of like it's the camera like down below looking up at him, as if like him towering over this camera and doing it, and it's even just things like that you can appreciate just in the direction of it and just the look and the feel of it. Even the fact that it's a black and white film for what it's trying to say, because there was color movies out at this time, and in fact that's why this movie kind of didn't do well in the box office when it was released.
Because they were still working with black and white, and the new Coke was color.
Exactly, the new fancy thing, but I think it would have lost something in color. Like I think the black and white it fits into the whole message and the whole ethos of the movie as well. You know, it is this like it is this binary choice. They guilty, non-guilty.
It is black and white. At the end of the day, the decision they have to make is one or the other, and no in between. Yeah,
but it's I struggle to find a negative thing to say about this movie, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. I think it's fucking wonderful.
Yeah,
it's so intense.
Yes.
You know, it's just like you right there again, it's the hot box thing. Like it feels close and claustrophobic and sweaty, even though it's quite a big room. Yeah. But it's not quite a big room for 12 people, I guess. When they're like, you know, all sit around a table and they're under pressure, and this the antagonizing and the personalities that just do not gel at all. And it's like, I mean, it's how juries are made up. They're random people. I don't know how it was done then. I think the fact that it's 12 men, maybe. I think they used to, especially in murder cases, they used to specifically get men in, because I don't know, they thought maybe women couldn't handle it because fucking 50s fucking misogynistic bullshit. I don't know.
Apparently, that I did read somewhere that the writer was questioned why he didn't add women. Then he's like, because I'd have to change the name, the title. So Reginald Rose is the writer, and I think he deserves a lot of props for this, because
what would I call it if there was a woman in it? I don't know. Fuck.
12 Angry Jurors, I suppose. But
yeah, that's not.
It doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
No.
But like it. I don't know. It's hard to kind of pick a negative for this movie. You know, I think all the elements are there. You know, every character, every actor fits his role perfectly and acts it well, and the direction, the lighting, the set, like all the aspects in it just fit perfectly, and I just love the payoff at the end. Like, you know, I love how everything builds up, as you say, and or even like those small moments where the angry juror is like, "I'll kill you." It's like, you don't actually mean that, do you?
Yeah,
you know,
you don't really mean that.
I love like how he destroys his own arguments by the way he gets on, and like the writing, and it's fucking superb. Isn't
it just? It's such a good film. All in all, I think overall, this is just one of those films that you think everybody should see, because not only because of like, you know, this is a great way to make a film in one location, but it makes some great points about personal perception and interpretation, and allowing your emotions and your prejudgments to get the better of you, and maybe ways to maybe try and, again, critical thinking, look at yourself and how you're perceiving something and try to see it from a bunch of other angles. And it does that literally and figuratively.
And we could
really,
use.
really, really well.
I think everyone could learn from that lesson these days. A lot.
Yeah, it'd be really good. Everyone now should have to sit down and watch 12 Angry Men and then take a long, hard look at their internet comment history and their Twitter. Okay, well, I turned around one of the astronaut helmets, and it's on the back of it. It said Leonid, and then it said Brezhnev, and then it said 25. I tried punching those numbers into the calculator that has been left sitting on the chess set, and it says boobies.
Ooh.
I don't think that's a clue, though. I think that's just...
I don't know. I think we should investigate.
I think we should investigate the chess set boobies.
Yeah.
I don't see anything here. Maybe they're talking about they're talking about the Branston pickle jar.
True.
No. Yeah, there's a picture of a dog.
We still haven't ruled out that these people are idiots.
Yeah, they're definitely idiots. That's what idiots do with calculators, John. They write boobies on it. They turn it upside down and go, and then they throw away the calculator, because who needs a calculator these days, actually? Let's throw that away. But anyway, John, we're not talking about that.
No.
What if, John, if the door was open, do you think you'd be able to just walk out of it?
I mean,
you feel like you would?
I mean, I'd like to hope so, but
yeah,
one never knows.
Never sure.
Strange compulsions can take over the best of us.
Yeah, people are weird.
Yep.
Just like the people in... This is the most fucking laboured segue ever. The Exterminating Angel from 1962, directed by Luis Buñuel. So, John, what did you think of The Exterminating Angel?
I really like The Exterminating Angel. It's a really weird, fun concept that I like that you don't get an answer to. Yeah. I suppose maybe I should say spoiler that, but it's never fully explained why these people cannot leave the room.
Yeah.
And I like that, because any explanation would have been terrible.
Yeah. Anything that rationalizes what happens in this movie would be bad. And they don't.
And I mean, this director is very anti-bourgeois and
very.
You know, that's the whole point of this, and it's very clear, and it wears it. Like, even when you don't know, there's certain, like, especially dream sequences and even like random shit they're saying that sometimes you're like, I don't know if that's just mistranslated or if I'm missing something, but I don't know what that bit was about. But I think overall, like, you can tell from the tone, from how these characters are portrayed and everything about it, that this is a scathing indictment against the bourgeois.
Criticism of how these people's attitudes, and sort of, I guess you might say it's sort of about how they think they're better than the other people, but maybe they're actually worse. If not the same, they might actually be worse than everybody else. And maybe that's why they are in the position that they're in. I don't know.
And I mean, especially the longer they're trapped in this room, the more that comes out of their characters. And like, what one character in particular I really hated, that whiny dude, the brother and sister, who were kind of a wee bit...
the younger fella, that guy?
Yeah.
He's such a dick. He's such a prick. He's such a prat.
He's such a whiny fucking arsehole. It's... But no one's really great in this movie.
No,
like they're all kind of pieces of shit.
You kind of get the idea that the guy whose house they're at, and for a lot of the film, you're like, he seems okay and reasonable.
Yeah.
But the fact that he's okay and reasonable is what prompts them to turn on him. At some point, they're like, why is he so calm? You know, they're all kind of annoyed that he's not freaking out in a shitty way that they are. But then there's also sort of stuff about, like, he's also this bourgeois twat who's like, ugh. And like the person I feel sorry for most is like the butler guy who gets trapped in there with them. Yeah, he's like the house manager. I think he's a butler. He's certainly he seems to manage the staff at the house anyway.
They do kind of set him up as a bit of a, like, he's a bit too complicit, and like
he's a bourgeois sympathizer almost. He's like, yeah.
He's a bit of a job's worth. Like, you know, all the rest of them are kind of just there to do a job, but he's kind of a bit too involved.
Yeah, the part where everybody inexplicably, in the same way that inexplicably later in the film people can't leave.
Yeah.
There is a point earlier on where inexplicably the staff are all compelled to leave.
Yeah.
In the strangest way, where they're just like, they're ditching in sort of the middle of their shift in a lot of cases. They're like, nah, I have to go and do this and that. And then like, and rightly so, the sort of the butler guy is like, what? But dinner's about to be served, you know, we need to do, and like the chefs are like, it's all basically done, you can handle the rest. And like, you get the impression that
what
they're
about
not usually
the bear
like that.
and the sheep? What?
Yeah, that's fucking mental. Fucking, again, that's another, like, one of those indictments of fucking rich people and their dumb bullshit. Oh yeah, I got a black bear.
Yeah.
What? For the dinner party?
Yeah.
What? What? It's such just ludicrous extravagance. Like, it's just, I think, as I assume, meant to make you just do what I just did there.
Yeah.
Like, what? You
fucking
serious?
arseholes.
What a pack of fucking spoiled brat bastards.
So there's even that bit where the waiter trips and
they
all laugh and
she
like
intentionally trips him. She like, there's the girl that they're like, haha, she's so mischievous.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, no, she's not mischievous. She's awful.
Yeah.
She's awful. She ruffles up the carpet so he falls over it.
Yep. But they all act as if like, ha 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 ha, this is part of like the dinner show, and you're like,
yeah.
You're all terrible people.
Isn't this great fun? Yeah, but it is a good impetus, though, for the remaining wait staff to be like, right, I'm fed up and I am leaving.
Yeah.
It's a good impetus for them to just be like, okay, you know what, that's the last straw. I'm going. And then they do go. And they feel good about leaving.
Yeah.
You know? And you feel good about them leaving as well. You're like, well, thank fuck he got out of there. And he's like, I don't care. He's like, I don't care about this job anymore. Basically, he's like, fuck this. I'm done. I've been there. I've done that.
Yeah.
You know, that has happened to me a long time ago, but that has fucking happened to me. I know. I felt that guy's pain when he did that, and I was like, yeah, you're doing the right thing, mate. Get out of there. Yeah, but then we move on to, like, the strangest, but, like, the central premise of the movie, which is, like, they all retire to the sort of drawing room after dinner, and then they just... initially, they just don't leave.
Yeah. It's kind of... It's weird. It's like they almost don't want to address it because it's impolite or it's not the right etiquette. There's so much like in these early scenes that I like where etiquette keeps getting mentioned. It's like, oh, look at that boar. And, like, he said he was going to leave and now he's taking his jacket off and all, like, and it's all like they are like trapped in this bourgeois mindset that this is completely ridiculous what they're witnessing. And apparently, is it on? It might just be on the IMDb page. I read somewhere that this was banned in Russia because the idea of here it is, was banned in Russia because the idea of people not being allowed to leave a party was considered offensive and anti-government.
What?
That is the most insane bit of trivia I have read about this.
Leave a party? Do they mean like a political party, like the Russian Communist Party?
Well, it must be like
that's what they were trying to like.
Because in leave a party is in inverted commas, so I'm wondering, is it like
that seems like the kind of thing that would happen. I believe that. Yeah, that seems about right. That the Russian censorship, even today.
Yeah.
Even they're still doing that. I mean, you know, you want to say what you want about like the dissolution of the USSR and whether or not it really happened.
Yeah.
Whether it was just change in management.
Yeah.
Which I think
we'll have to rebrand ourselves, lads.
Yeah, it was rebranding mainly.
Yep.
Because they're still banning stuff that like throws stuff of the communist days into a negative light. I mean, they banned that movie, The Death of Stalin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you'd think they wouldn't be precious about Stalin, and they aren't openly, but they are. They found other excuses to ban that movie.
Yeah.
But I think it was very obvious that they still hold those people in reverence.
You can always find some excuse to ban a movie, can't you?
Oh,
or
if
a
you
book
really,
or whatever.
Yeah, especially if you're a totalitarian government, you know, it's very easy like, which is exactly what they have. They have fake. Anyway, we're going to talk about fucking. We're supposed to be talking about. Well, that's sort of what this movie is about.
Exactly.
Though.
Yeah. I was getting ready to like jump on you there when you finish your sentence and go, this is kind of what this movie's meant to be doing, and it's meant to spark these conversations in a way. To know that,
and
like,
it just did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well done, Russia, for banning it back then, because you're making us talk about exactly what the movie wants us to talk about. Well done.
Have you seen any of this director's other movies?
Louis Buñuel?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
There's one that I've read. Like I don't think I have. There was another one, I think, but there is one that I'm kind of interested in. That it sounds like it's the opposite of this movie in a sense, where it's called the discreet charm of the bourgeoisie, and apparently this is where they go to the dinner but they never get to eat it. So it's like they're constantly being interrupted by like sometimes surreal things, you know. So it's like the polar opposite of this movie in a sense.
Yeah. It's like it seems like it's maybe a similar exercise in frustration.
Yeah.
Though from the sounds of it. But yeah, I don't think I've seen. I'm just looking through his actual sort of IMDb at the minute. I'm cheating by looking at the list and seeing. I may have seen his version of Wuthering Heights, but I'm not sure. Yeah. I don't think so. I kind of want to see that though. That the discreet charm of the bourgeoisie.
Yeah.
That sounds interesting.
Even the title, even the picture of the on IMDb.
I've seen An Andalusian Dog. I didn't realize that was him.
Oh yeah,
that's the one he did with Salvador Dali.
Yes.
That's really weird.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a really odd film. That's sort of you can see a lot of David Lynch in An Andalusian Dog. It's
Is
very
that the one
surrealist.
that it was either him or Salvador Dali said that they went to the premiere with rocks in their pocket in case the audience tried to
that
attack
sounds
them.
about right.
I think it was him, because I think he was probably more self-aware than Salvador Dali, and like realized people are going to be fucking raging with us.
If they paid to see this movie and the plot makes barely any goddamn sense, and there's a whole bunch of weird footage cut in between of like there's literally like slicing up eyeballs and stuff in that.
Yeah,
weird other stuff going on. It's very strange.
That's all I remember from that movie, and that particular stuff freaks me. Eye shit isn't for me, so that's probably ingrained in my brain forever. So I never want to see that again.
Yeah, I remember being moved by it. Yeah. I remember seeing that film and being like, "Wow, this is odd," but I could tell that it was like special.
I moved out of the room, I think.
Yeah. Well, that's how you move, John. That's just the direction you tend to move in when eyeballs get eradicated.
Yeah.
But speaking of this particular film, it can
Going
be
back
about
to Exterminating Angel.
The Exterminating Angel. It can be about, now, not necessarily whatever you want it to be, but you could interpret it in a broad range of ways. Like they never, and it's not really spoilers to say that, you know, they never really get to explaining the sort of, because they're not hitting a force field, you know.
Yeah.
Every time they want to leave the room, they go to leave the room, they get to the doorway, and then they just find themselves stopping.
Yeah.
They find themselves going nope and turning back into the room, or sitting down and just sort of like relaxing or something like that, you know, taking a seat.
Yeah.
And just chilling out for a while. And it's very sort of like nothing stopped them.
Mm-hmm.
They just stopped themselves. So they never really get into the mechanics of what is stopping them.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't, again, you don't need to. It's almost like you can imagine it's whatever. I mean, they spend a lot of the movie trying to rationalize it themselves.
Yeah.
And they never quite get there. And I think Luis Buñuel went on record as saying that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, and like the idea that even like, but again, artists tend to be quite cagey on whenever they have something they want people to just get there on their own on. They tend not to want to elucidate things like that. Like, I mean, he's even been initially was quite cagey about it being a metaphor for the bourgeoisie class sort of divide, even though it clearly is.
Yeah.
But he was even cagey on being like open about that for a long time. So it makes sense that he wouldn't really come out and say, yeah, oh yeah, it was aliens. He's not going to say something dumb like that. But it is again much like 12 Angry Men. It's really interesting to watch. It's another hotbox.
Yeah.
It's another and it takes place over 12 Angry Men. Takes place over it's almost in real. It's not quite in real time. I mean, there's a few breaks in 12 Angry Men where we get time has passed. So it's taking place over a whole evening in 12 Angry Men.
Yeah, but you feel like you don't miss any of the conversation there.
Yeah.
You feel like nothing significant happened in that time.
Yeah, but in this there are some jumps and you see people's states change.
Yeah.
You see a few days have passed and then maybe there's almost a point where they're saying it's been weeks.
Yeah, which seems strange.
Yeah, and they've been eating what the fuck they've been eating, I don't know. But there's a point where they're so desperate that they're busting through the wall to get to the water pipe.
Yeah.
And all that. That felt very real to me. I remember watching that and being like, this is something that would be aped by more modern movies of people in desperation, but this is I was surprised to see it in a film from this era. Yeah. Of people being desperate and hacking through a wall to get to supplies, essentially, And I was like, this is great. Or what do we do? There's a point where people do die, and then they're all of a sudden they're confronted with the practical thing of what do we do with a dead body? Yeah. And they're
stuff it in a cupboard.
Stuff it in a cupboard and try and forget about it. Yeah. Is what they do. They try to ignore their problems.
And the few times there's one of the women actually says about the smell. She goes on about the awful smell, and you're like, oh yeah, because there are toilets in that cupboard. At this point there's 3 dead bodies in that cupboard. Yeah, that room is humming.
Yeah, they do a good job. They do a good job of giving you an impression of what your other senses are supposed to be experiencing. The stench, the smell, and the heat. Yeah. I think really, and the atmosphere in this room must be just awful by the time we're done. And it's just you just see all these people basically just degenerate under stress into they're pointing fingers and there's recriminations and accusations all over the place of you're against us, while people are drawing arbitrary lines in the sand of we're on this side, we're all against you, and there's sides here all of a sudden. Yeah, it's
one of the women even tries to delve into an occult ritual to break the spell or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, there's some spiritualist nonsense going on there, and people are just fuck off. I love that they don't accept that. Some people are like, oh, just give it a try. Yeah. And then other people are just this is a bunch of fucking bullshit. And then but then they get to the point where they're just well, fuck it, why not? Yeah. Because what the fuck else are we going to do? Because we don't understand why we can't leave the fucking room. So maybe this will help. And it's really bizarre. And the way they get out of the room, I guess, is the way they figure out a way is... It's weirdly arbitrary, but I like the process. And it's mainly about...
There's some sort of logic going on there, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and you would see this film... This has been aped in some other things, but not a lot. Yeah. This hasn't come up a lot. In fact, there is an episode, I think I've mentioned it on this show before, but there is an episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer that does the Exterminating Angel, where I think Dawn wishes for people not to leave. It's her birthday party or something. She doesn't want people to leave. I don't even think
it's her birthday party. I think it's Buffy's, and she's not self-centered. Didn't like Dawn's character.
Yeah, I think Dawn's just sick of people running out on her and leaving her alone or something. Yeah. And she wishes that people would just stay, and then people go to leave, and then they find reasons not to go. And they keep then well, why are you taking your coat off? And it's I just thought I'd stay for a while, that, which is great, and it's that has a reason, though, why that's happening in that, whereas in this, you don't really find out. But again, like you're saying, I do like that. I like the idea that it doesn't feel the need to explain itself. It is really well, and again, if you want to get down to the technical aspects, it's for a movie of this era as well, much like 12 Angry Men, it's really well shot. Yeah. In a way that was probably very awkward to do And, it's a small-ish set.
Yeah.
And everyone's really crammed
very low
in
budget.
and-
Apparently, he had trouble
Yeah.
getting napkins.
Really?
Yeah, because
Wow.
they were filming in Mexico, and to get like fancy napkins for this dinner party, they had to like the I think it was a set designer or someone involved in the production had to bring one from home just so they could do this one shot where it appears. So there's like
Wow.
loads of things that maybe you don't appreciate when you're watching something. It's like, oh god, that must have been an absolute fucking nightmare to do. Then
Yeah.
you're trying to do this like fancy bourgeois dinner party and you have no napkins. You'll be the talk of the town.
Oh, I did also spot that. I don't know if this is a result of the change in aspect ratio of the version I watched or not, or if this was visible in the original movie. But there was a point where I did see a microphone jamming in from the bottom of the frame, really obviously, throughout an entire shot that they used, and I'm guessing they didn't have the budget to go back and redo
Probably
reshoots.
not. Yeah.
But that, aside from that,
What did you think of the cameo from Thing from the Addams Family?
what?
The hand, the severed hand.
Oh,
that
the
is, like,
hand that's like crawling about the place.
It's not even crawling. It's kind of like moving and floats.
It's almost it's like being dragged around, and it's like almost like it's been animated to like wumble across the floor, and like that was very strange.
Yeah.
That was very odd. That's sort of reminiscent a wee bit of Andalusian Dog there,
Yeah.
of just some just weird surrealist nonsense that's happening, because it's not. I mean, there's obviously there's dream sequences and stuff like that where
Yeah.
it does get surreal, but all of the sort of real world stuff is still, despite the premise, is still quite real.
And I mean, any of the surreal stuff can be explained away with just they've been food deprived. Yes, they get water at some point. So they could be hallucinating. They could they're seeing weird shit. Like that is not beyond the realm of possibility. I will say actually I'll mention two scenes that really stood out to me because I thought they were fucking fantastic, like visually and just meaningful wise, were when they lure the sheep into the room and the crowd of them like beasts, like animals, and that I think looks great and it's fantastic. And then there's a scene where the host guy is going to kill one of the sheep, and one of the girls takes off his bandana and puts it round the sheep's eyes.
Oh yeah,
And it's just like, oh my god, yeah, like there's still this bit of humanity left in them where it's like he really does not want to do this, but just blindfolding the sheep kind of helps a bit, and that there are moments in this movie that are spectacular.
Yeah. And like I would say that reminded of whenever I saw them all descend on the sheep. It put me in mind of like George A. Romero movies.
Definitely.
Like zombie. Like there's a shot in, I think it's Day of the Dead, where that exact thing happens, but it's saying in a sheep that's getting descended on. And it's almost like the way they move it, they all sort of fall and sort of move in like that is very, very similar. So it's like this film, I think this film's popular among filmmakers.
Yeah.
In a big way. It's not necessarily a famous film. It's one of those ones that it makes a lot of lists of like films you should see before you die, or like the BFI's best films ever made, 20th century's best, and stuff like that.
The cynic in me would usually go, it's probably because it's obscure, and they just want like, oh, you haven't heard this. This is on my list. But I have to say, I do think this has a lot of merit in that.
Yeah, I found this film completely absorbing.
Yeah.
It was just like, it's that hotbox thing. You feel like you're there in the room with them.
Yeah.
And they're not the people that I want to be trapped in a room with either. I mean, they really fucking aren't.
I mean, even the fact that the one they have breaking that wall for them is the waiter guy, of course. Like none of those fancy upper class ones are touching it. They're just kind of sitting there going, yes, do this, slave. Even in this weird scenario, he's the one still following orders. There's still like this weird hierarchy they're trying to follow, and
you're just like you're seeing him. You're waiting for him to snap.
Yeah, I would have loved a scene where he just like goes, "Fuck you."
But he never quite does. He's too beaten down, you know. He's like the horse in Animal Farm in a lot of ways, you know. Or he's just like, even when it's like, whenever he's working himself to death, you know, he's still just like, no, this is for the best. Yeah, it's like, oh, metaphors, man. We can talk about that all day, but we have to move on now, because otherwise, this might just become like a classist essay, and I don't want to do that.
No.
Especially, no, that'll be like a 3-hour long friggin' diatribe. So, Exterminating Angel, deserving of its accolades. I think it's excellent. It's very claustrophobic and a difficult but easy watch.
Yeah.
John, do you ever wonder if the key to getting out of this room was inside us all along? Literally.
I hope. I was kind of hoping you were going for more metaphorical thing there.
No, because the film we're talking about now, that's not what they would do.
Right, there's a bit of broken glass. I'll start digging into the insides.
You got to find the right spot to start digging first, though, John. As we talk about Saw from 2004, directed by James Wan,
who you half love.
I do. I like half of his stuff, I'd say, maybe. I really like about 50% of his output, and then the other 50% is stuff I really don't like. It's weird.
He is very polarizing that way.
Yeah, it's hard. It's sometimes he would go on to do other things I would really like, and to be honest, I'm gonna say that I do still kind of like this film.
Yeah.
It has done a disservice by the sequels.
Oh God, yeah.
Again, much like we had talked about this on our Blair Witch episode and we had talked about this in our Slashers episode about, like, again, John Carpenter's Halloween and the Blair Witch Project.
And also when we talked about Death, Final Destination, it's like it had diminishing returns, very much like the Saw franchise.
Yeah, well, it peaked at number 2, though, I feel like, which is a weird one, I think, with Final Destination.
Yeah.
It's an outlier, but everything, if you take Final Destination 2 as that movie, then absolutely, yes, it was diminishing returns after that. But, yeah, so this is kind of like, this film, it's one of those it's a weird serial killer movie.
Yeah.
But the sequels would go on to be just what would become termed as torture porn. People would talk about it as. Now, the first one isn't that as much. It feels like it was influenced a bit, like, quite heavily by Seven.
Yeah.
The whole, like, ironic punishment thing. But this film, like, the sequels really just went off got fixated on that rather than, the film almost feels like it's trying to say something else about arrogance and people not appreciating what they've got and stuff. But it does, and there is a wee bit. I mean, there is a whack of, oh, this is nasty and we're doing nasty things.
Yeah. But
in my head, it's way worse than when you watch the film.
And I think later ones kind of they try to, this Jigsaw killer dude, they try to make it almost seem like, he's got a point, but he doesn't.
No,
he's being a wild dick. Like he's
he's a cunt. He's a twat.
And later ones you find out that, would it be spoiler to? I'll throw a spoiler. I'll throw up a spoiler because to be honest, I think most people know who the killer is at this point. And he has cancer, and in later ones he dies in like the 3rd or something. But in later ones he's like, I got cancer. It wasn't until I got cancer that I realized to know how to live and shit like this. And you're going, that still doesn't give you the right to put people in these mad murder traps. And then I think of some
murder traps. That's great.
I think of one of them. He even says, I've never killed anyone. It's like, right.
No.
You put them in a position though. Like there's times where these traps.
That's murder.
Yeah.
What he's done is murder. Like there's no oh well, you can't, oh well, this you really can't say is bullshit. I didn't actually strangle him. I just put a rope around his neck and pulled it tight.
He only had to cut his leg off to survive. Yeah, but not everyone's going to do that.
Yeah, it's like saying, "Oh, it wasn't me that killed him. It was a bullet that I fired from a gun into his head. That wasn't murder on me. I was a bullet that killed him." Like that doesn't fly. Like that's bullshit.
Guns don't kill people.
Yeah, I put someone in an inescapable situation where they were going to die. That is, you killed somebody.
Yeah.
Like, there isn't. It's not. They pretend it's a grey area, and it isn't a grey area at all. This movie's a bit more sort of upfront about. It doesn't dabble in, "I didn't kill anyone." Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
that would come later. This movie's more just like
who is the killer, and what's happening, and why these, and is it really that guy? And no, I like the murder mystery aspect to it.
Yeah. It's kind of fun because it is there is sort of a, you don't know who the killer is for a lot of the film, you know, and that described, especially like coming back and watching a film like this like again later is like you have to sort of try and put yourself back in the position of, I don't know who the killer is, and it can be hard to do that. But I think it's pretty good because now, there are horrible, again, as you say, mad murder traps in this movie. The worst one is, well, I say the worst one. The one that they would model the next entire series of movies on is one that is told in a flashback. For it's a woman with like a contraption that's like stuck to her head. Yeah. They would basically, all the sequels to this took that thing and went, well, what if that was the whole movie, was that? What if it was just things like that for friggin' 90 minutes to 2 hours?
Yeah.
And like that fails, that's how they get into the murder porn thing aspect of it. Whereas this movie, it is a lot of like, this is, I mean, you look at this movie and it's like, it's an escape room.
Yeah.
It's like, you look at this film and you're like, oh, I see why escape rooms happened. Yeah. Because this, particularly this first one, is very much that. Here's a bunch of really weird esoteric clues that you don't get right away, but as you look around and explore your immediate environment more, you learn more, and then you go, oh, there's a secret thing over here, and this and that, and that's fun. It's because I forgot about most of that stuff. So it was fun for me to like re-experience. Oh yeah, cool. There's a clue here and a clue here, and then he's found this box in a wall, and he's found this thing here and this thing over here, and they have to work together just like an escape room, you know. And that bit's fun. I love that.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it's an escape room where you could die essentially, and that's what gives it the horror of like, I need to figure this out or else. Oh no. And also, I mean, the worst thing for me is, and maybe it's like the best line in the movie, I think, and again, I guess spoilers a bit for Saw from 2004, but it's the point where like they find the hacksaws, and then the guy's trying to hacksaw through the chain, and it breaks the saw.
I can't believe they don't try the pipe as well.
I know, the pipe seemed to me to be like the thing I would try first rather than the chain.
I mean, it probably won't work, of course.
No. In the film, they wouldn't let it work in the film. But it's the point where he says, they're not for the chains.
Yeah.
They're it's for our feet. And you're like, oh, and that is nasty and ugh. But like, and then they do get into that in gruesome detail later, but you know, they leave it hanging for a while. That's the thing, that it creates this atmosphere for the rest of the film when he figures that out of what's happening and how this is going to go. And again, you lose a lot of it if you know the twists and stuff. You do lose a lot of the tension, but first time through, this film's really good. There's a reason it spawned so many sequels, and was so popular. I
mean, a lot of the direction and the camera work's a bit, well, very cheesy at times, and like that. I don't. Yeah. They really overuse that frame rate thing that they do, like sped up, that is like,
you wiggle your head around a lot, mate, and we'll speed it up and it'll look cool.
Like that is like, after about the fourth or fifth time you're like, oh, for God's sake.
So like James Wan would get away from that mostly in other films. Like, I mean, he made The Conjuring, which is fucking mirror opposite of this film in a lot of ways. It doesn't have pounding, annoying techno or crazy, mad, cut together, like almost music video sequences. That doesn't happen in The Conjuring.
Yeah.
Happens in this a fair bit. But you can see how he got there from here in some ways. There's a lot of like sort of like subtle static shots of people in a room just saying things that are unnerving and building tension, and he's good at that. It does kind of flub it at those parts we're talking about. The tension just dissipates.
There's also there's a very long sequence, or maybe it's not that long, it seemed long, where Carrie Elwes's daughter, like it's just shows her waking up and kind of looking into the shadows, and it's like, right, okay, get on with it. You know,
it just kind of
it just kind of grinds to a halt. You're like, yeah, we get it. She woke up and she's staring in the shadows, but it kind of pays off later. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Still to me, it seemed a wee bit kind of ridiculous. But I will say, like, on your point of, you know, escape rooms, kind of probably getting a lot more popular after this. After Saw, there was actually one that me and my wife went to in Belfast. Not because of this movie, it's actually a lot later, but where they put a bag over your head and they change you to the floor and to begin with, and the lights were off, so you took the bag off and you're like, what the fucking... Then there was like a religious based serial killer that came up on the TV screen, and yeah, that to me is very, like, that particular one was obviously very centered on this idea of Saw. And it was very good, I have to say. It was awesome. They can't do that anymore because I think it was like it was in danger of like them being sued.
Yeah, I recall you telling me about that a long time ago and me getting super excited, and then later you told me, oh, they stopped doing that bit because it was too intense.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I kind of don't want to do it. I bet it's probably still great.
Like they still do that same one. But yeah, they can't do the whole like putting the bag over your head and like
simulate a kidnapping. Yeah. That's pretty fucked up.
And that's the only reason I would name them and kind of go, we should go check them out. Only I don't know if
you're probably fine, but like we'll go and ask them for money later.
No, well, if anyone's interested in Belfast, it's for Forbidden Quest. They've got a few good ones. If you're into escape rooms, but like Saw's that, like even the fact, you know, you've got the key that goes down the drain, you've got the wee box that they find with the X, and you know, all these things that happen that I could have said spoiler warning there, but it's kind of just, you know, minor parts of the movie. Like the main thing is just like, how are these guys going to get out? You know, you wake up, there's a dead body in the room and some other guy, and I do find some of the acting in this movie is a bit spotty at times.
It comes and goes, doesn't it?
Like the guy trapped with Carrie Elwes, like I don't know, some of his line deliveries are a wee bit.
Yeah, he sounds a bit like he's reading it off a card sometimes. Yeah, he's doing that thing where the actors get warned not to do, like, don't read the punctuation.
Yeah, and even there's parts where I don't think it's the actor's fault. It's the writing is a wee bit kind of spotty at times, where like they paint it as if he's just remembering things. So like them trying to kind of make the story work the way they want is like, oh, I suddenly remember how I was kidnapped. And it's like, why would you forget that?
Yeah, it's like it's crowbarred in amnesia, selective amnesia for the important points that it's not going to work unless he remembers this later rather than from the beginning, so he just doesn't remember it. Yeah, which is a bit lazy. Yeah. It's like you didn't rationalize your mystery is what happened there, and then afterwards you had to be like, oh, well, what if he just doesn't, I want to put this in. What if he just forgot about that until now? Okay. Ugh, I don't know, but all right, okay.
And some of the and my favorite line has to be at one point Carrie Elwes is very distressed, and he's going and he's talking to the who he thinks is the kidnapper, and he's going, I'll kill you, and then he hears his wife, he goes, I'll kill you, Ali. And the weirdest line delivery ever.
It's so odd the way he says her name. It's like Haley or Ali. Is it Haley?
Ali, I think.
Ali. Yeah. It's like he's going, and then you hear her voice and he goes, Ali. And you're like, Jesus, Carrie, what the fuck happened to your voice? He just goes weirdly crazy high pitched.
Yeah. I love it. I burst out laughing. In fact, I forgot that happens, and when it happened, I burst out laughing. This thing. It's like
it
brilliant.
becomes the center point of the film for a while, where you just can't stop thinking about that. And I like Cary Elwes. He's been very, very, very good in other things.
He's the best Robin Hood.
He is the best Robin Hood. Yes. He's wonderful in The Princess Bride. He's a great antagonist in Twister.
Yeah,
he was. He
was in our very first episode. He was in one of the movies of our vampire episode.
He was a dashing English gent,
as he always is.
Indeed, he just is a dashing English gent. I think that's his problem, is that he gets typecast as that.
Yes,
constantly. This is and he does a decent American accent most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
But it does slip now and then. Whenever he's getting agitated in this, it does slip. But it's fine. I'm okay with that. It doesn't bother me. But that bit in particular is just wild, and the fact that it comes out of nowhere. It's shocking when he does it.
Yeah.
But I think this film is responsible for a lot of hurt in cinema. In that, it's almost like Eli Roth has made a living out of poorly emulating this kind of thing.
And again, missing the point, as you say, it's like we keep coming round to this. Where like a movie does well or tries to do something kind of unique or different, and people emulate it to the point where it's just like, what fucking movie were you watching? It happened with Halloween. It happened with The Blair Witch. It happened with what else? We had others. I can't remember.
Oh, we had a whole list of things. I went on and on and on about video games in the last one, about how horror video games, somebody comes up with a new mechanic and all of a sudden it's been fucking everything and it becomes stale. Just found footage became stale very quickly. This kind of torture porn stuff became stale almost immediately.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as there was a sequel, as soon as fucking Hostel came out, I think it was like, they should have been like, all right, pack up, lads, we're done.
Yeah.
But there was just a weird subset of people who just got into those movies.
And because this one, I'm not saying this is not a masterpiece. Like, this is dumb. No. This is stupid. But it's fun stupid. Yeah. The longer this series goes on, the more ridiculous, the more you have to suspend your disbelief to the point where up to breaking point. I think everyone has like a breaking point in the Saw series. You just go, no, I'm jumping off the train here.
I think it was Saw 2 for me. I think I've seen a few of them. I remember kind of like they tried to get back to this they came out with one that was called Jigsaw.
Yeah.
That was supposed to like be a sort of soft reboot of the whole series.
Oh yeah.
And it was actually all right. I actually quite enjoyed it because they reintroduced the mystery aspect of it in a way that was quite satisfying and pretty good.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as, we're just being minging for the sake of it.
Yeah.
As the intervening Saw 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I think there was 6.
Oh, God.
I think they got to 6 before they stopped numbering them and decided to do this Jigsaw movie. I don't know if they got to 7. To be honest, I don't want to look it up because it's funnier.
They even had there's like a reality TV show called Scream Queens, in which these actresses were trying to get a part as just like random victim, being destroyed by one of these murder machines. Sorry, mad murder machines. I can't remember what one that was for, but yeah, like it just. I think that even shows you just how off the rails this got. Where it's just like
that's the focus. Like, what's the worst fucking thing we can do now?
Yeah.
What if we do the same machine from the last movie, but also salt?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool, right. Ugh, fucking bullshit. So yeah, I still kind of like this movie. I think it's pretty well made. There's parts where the editing just is awful and wild.
Yeah.
But again, James Wan would get away from that. I think he goes back to it sometimes. He did a Fast and the Furious movie where he does a wee bit of that, but it works in those. I think it was 6. I think he did. I think he did 6 and 7.
I mean, it kind of works in this as well because it's like schlocky and just ridiculous. Like it fits the tone of the ridiculousness in a way.
Yeah, it's like an updated. It wants to be an updated 7.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean,
and it sort of succeeds with a fair bit of that tonally, but
I mean, if it was like, if this was like a 12 Angry Men or Exterminating Angel and that editing was in it,
yeah,
that would be unforgivable. But
yeah, but it's okay for this. It's okay for Saw.
Yeah,
yeah. So I guess that sort of sums this up. This movie, it was okay for Saw.
Yeah,
yeah. Alright, so push down latch to open space helmet, and there's a candle in the space helmet. Light the candle, and it opened up a secret compartment in the medieval laboratory. Man, they really just, their thematic dissonance here is upsetting. And to be honest, we've been at this for a long time now.
Yeah.
And I thought it was usually an escape room. They have like, you have 2 hours to escape the room. But they didn't do any of that with us. They just closed the door and laughed. So I think we have to get out of here under our own ingenuity, and I don't want to do the puzzles.
Maybe this is like a surrealist escape room.
Yeah.
Salvador Dali was partnered up to make this one as well.
You just go around in a weird loop or something. It just gets stranger every time.
It is like life. You never fully escape.
Melting clocks. I don't know.
The only escape is death.
Yay! Well, John, before we die, before we get to the death part of the show, which of these did you think was the best movie?
I think this is obvious.
Is it?
Well, for me, it's definitely 12 Angry Men.
I kind of thought that's where you're going to go with it, but
like, Exterminating Angel is very close, but it's it never stood a chance, really.
No, it never stood a chance against the name Sidney Lumet.
That's the crazy thing is that this was his feature debut.
Yeah.
He was a TV director before this, and it was actually Henry Fonda was the one who approached him because he's a producer on this.
Yeah.
Apparently he hates producing. Henry Fonda was, after he produced this, was like on record as going, I'll never want to produce again. I don't know if he did or not, but so I think for a feature debut you cannot do much better than this movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good for your first one. Like,
yeah, that's pretty shockingly good. But I mean, I honestly could talk about this movie for hours and hours and hours, but I do have to say the Exterminating Angel with another group of movies would probably have won.
The fact that you're putting it up against 12 Angry Men is what sort of chips it off there, but it is excellent.
Yeah.
Genuinely absorbing. It's really just like, they do such a good job, and 12 Angry Men does as well, but they do such a good job of building and establishing and maintaining the atmosphere, Yeah. They're just like intense, and like 12 Angry Men has a few moments of calm relief, whereas I feel like Exterminating Angel is it just gets worse and worse and worse. In Exterminating Angel, there's a wee bit of ebb and flow, but it never ebbs back.
I do love the ending of Exterminating Angel, where after everyone's, like, spoilers obviously, but after everyone escapes and they're going to the church to for the service of people that died.
Yeah, twist ending.
Yeah, and then it seems like those original ones leave early, very much compelled, like their
servants.
Their servants were earlier, so they leave early, and then everyone else tries to leave and can't. Yeah. And it's like, it's all starting again. And of course, then you've got that whole, religious aspect thing where he's having to go at them now.
Yeah, he's having to go at the goddamn church.
Which I'm all for. So.
Yeah, they're the same. They're just a different bourgeoisie.
Yes, exactly. But what one would you pick out of?
I don't know, because Exterminating Angel was great.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say I'm discounting Saw out of hand,
Yeah.
but when you're putting it up against 12 Angry Men and The Exterminating Angel,
Yeah.
it doesn't really stand a chance. It's too... You know what? See, to be honest...
Saw is my favorite color movie out of these three.
You cheeky fucker. Like, if it didn't have those weird techno editing high frame rate bits, to be honest, I would feel better about giving it less of a short shrift.
But then even the script though, it needs tidying up or something. There's some dialogue that's a bit whiffy, and then there's dialogue, there's plot holes, there's the plot hole, the sort of patchwork plot hole fixing of the like forced in amnesia aspect that they don't address as amnesia in it. They just say, "Oh, I just remembered," and you're like, "What?" Remember when you do you ever get that when like you forget a really traumatic thing that just happened the day before?
Yeah, like a few hours ago. Like, really is when it fucking happened. Yeah, which is absolute nonsense. It's so just like they're bodging it together.
Yeah.
With that stuff, they come up with a few different discrete ideas that wouldn't have worked together if the characters were aware of them.
Yeah.
Earlier, so they have them forget, and that is, I don't want to be mean, but it is bad writing.
Yeah.
It's just bad writing.
It is, though. Like, I mean, it's not being mean. Yeah. It's just being realistic. You know, it is, and I mean, it's not, it could just be that they were crunched for time, that they had to, like, really rush this out. You know, there's a myriad amount of things can happen, or it could have been better written, and some executive type went, I don't like that, that'll take too much time to explain, just right that they had amnesia, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you can never really tell with modern filmmaking, especially. You don't know how much you can blame on studio executives trusting test audiences.
I do feel bad for writers these days, because like they you know, if a movie does have plot holes and things like that, then it's automatically, you go, oh, it's badly written. But
yeah, but it might not be.
It might not be their fault.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when we were talking about Monkey Bone before a couple of weeks ago, and there was this thing that I was talking about like weird like cartoon to live action adaptations that weirdly always seem to have some kind of evil corporate thing going on.
Yep.
And the reason for that is that you need to convince a soulless studio shill scumbag executive that this is a good idea. So you have to write that in to please them to even greenlight it in the first place. Of some like, yeah, business, I understand business jokes. You know, and that's a problem. So like you can kind of point to studio executives in a lot of cases and say, maybe like, or something like, I mean, if you want to get like down to like one that you obviously, that I know was ruined by producers and executives, was like, again, I've mentioned it before, Alien 3.
I know
Alien 3. It's a fucking, and we were talking about 7 earlier, which is fucking David Fincher, who is a master of his craft. And David Fincher is the director on Alien 3.
Yeah.
And it wasn't quite, I think it was nearly an Alan Smithy. It was nearly a take my name off this, but he didn't go through with it. Because it was sort of like it had been ripped apart and put back together and shredded and redone and rewritten by the producer so much that it was barely the film. I mean, his idea for Alien 3 is nuts. Like the initial script, the initial premise of like a big wooden space station staffed by monks. Yeah. It was like a wooden planet almost, and it's mental. And obviously, I can see why a studio would look at that and say, you know, this is a sequel to Aliens, right? You know, this is the next Aliens movie, right?
Yeah, it's meant to be sci-fi.
But then what they did with it and how they fucking messed up the production is a matter of public record. I mean, you can just go and watch the special features on the Alien 3, the latest, the special edition ones. They have, people are very frank about the bullshit that happened with that. So you could say that, like, and James Wan hadn't made a lot of movies at this point either. You know, this was a big deal for him. So he would go on to like make The Conjuring, you know, which I think is great, and The Conjuring 2, which I also think is great.
Yeah.
The expanded Conjuring universe, not so great. Generally,
it's like everything,
shit.
all these things that go on too far. This is like,
Yeah.
what are we going to do? Like, make 13 Angry Men and then 14 Angry Men? It's like, oh no, that's more like Ocean's 11 then, isn't it?
Yeah, because he would go on after this. He made some other films. He made like a film about evil puppets, which I did enjoy. Actually, Dead Silence. It was fun, but it wasn't like earth shattering. The Conjuring was brilliant. Insidious. Lots of people liked Insidious, and it got sequeled to death as well.
Yeah.
I like Insidious up until about the final act when I think the whole thing falls to pieces. The sequels are the Insidious 2. Is one of the most offensively bad. And again, it's a James Wan. He did the second one.
I can't even remember.
And it's offensively bad. It's fucking offensively bad. It's not terribly technically made, but the writing, the dialogue, everything about the plot is offensively bad.
Yeah.
It's it made me angry to watch it. But then he came back. He did The Conjuring, and that's great. Yeah, he did. So yes, he did Fast and Furious 7, which is wonderful, which is so different than all this, and it is brilliant.
So daft.
It's so
stupid.
daft.
So stupid.
He picks up the torch of escalation in the Fast and Furious series so expertly. He's able to just come in there and just do it.
I mean, all they have left to do in that series is go to space at this point. Like, they
I never saw
really.
it.
Oh yeah, maybe they do go to space.
Or Hobbs and Shaw. Maybe Hobbs and Shaw go to space at some point. I couldn't bring myself to watch that piece of shit. Even though Idris Elba was in it, I still couldn't bring myself to watch it.
At the point those movies have got to, I would not be surprised if they appeared in a Marvel movie, because at this point they're supernatural heroes at this point.
Yeah, and again, James Wan did do a DC movie. He did Aquaman, which was not good, as I hear it. And he's also doing the sequel. Apparently that movie warranted a sequel, so that's happening.
I will say that Aquaman isn't the worst DC movie, but that is like saying shooting me in the shin wouldn't be the worst place to shoot me.
Yeah, you could shoot me in other places that would be worse, but I'd still rather not be shot. Yeah. So James Wan, again, I'm torn on him. I think he can make a great horror film.
Yeah.
But he doesn't always. And this is a decent one.
Yeah. It's okay.
With flaws. So I can't pick so I think I'm going with Exterminating Angel. Yeah. I think even though 12 Angry Men is brilliant.
I think for me the thing that kind of pits 12 Angry Men just over Exterminating Angel is the camera use and the lighting. I think is a lot more dynamic, and it's utilized so much better. That Exterminating Angel has good shots, and but the camera all it tends to do is pans left or right or very kind of basic stuff. But even that's giving it a disservice in a sense that the framing's perfect and the what it's showing's great. But
except when you see the microphone popping
apart from that,
the bottom of the screen, but outside of that,
I forgot about that. But I just love the camera work, and there's parts where clearly the camera's kind of in the center of the table and rotating around, getting people's reactions and things like that, or the close up of the old man that happens, and he's the only one who gets it anytime he talks. So everyone else tries to ignore him, but you as the audience can't. And it's so all these small details that just to me just make this really pit it as one of my favorite movies.
Oh man, you are talking me around here. Stop it. It is really good, and that whole escalation of the camera level rising throughout the movie.
The camera changes position, and even the lens, and I never really knew the import. Well, I did know lenses change the feel of it, it can feel change the feeling of the size of the room and things like that. So progressively they're changing lenses to make it feel more and more claustrophobic, and then at the very end they get the widest lens they can to let you breathe, and it's just so well done. Those things can't be overstated, and the lighting as well. It's if you look at shots from that movie at the start, everything's very bright. Everyone's wearing white as well, like a white shirt with a black tie. Or most of the characters are bright enough colors anyway. And by the end, it's all these dark shadows. Everyone looks really like
everyone's
haggard, and
yeah,
and it just like you can almost smell that musky, horrible sweat of just like everyone's stressed out, and everyone's just everyone is angry at this point. So
which I think is shared in Exterminating Angel.
Yeah,
they do that as well.
They do that very well. Yeah,
but it is maybe more upfront effective in 12 Angry Men.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right about that. And yes, John, lenses. When you talk about lenses, lenses can ruin a movie.
Oh yeah, lenses can make or ruin a movie.
Well, again, I don't know if this is maybe lenses ruining a movie or Zack Snyder ruining a movie, but he did this really bad. It was really bad movie.
He's done a lot of really bad movies.
He's done a couple of bad zombie movies. He did that Dawn of the Dead remake that was only saved by the James Gunn script.
Yeah.
But he did. It's not whatever this latest sort of. It wasn't even that. I think it was like 2 years ago, maybe. Mm-hmm. It was like the Las Vegas zombie of the Dead movie that he did.
God, I couldn't even get through that.
It's the lenses and that that movie's hard to look at because he used these big weird busted lenses that he bought off eBay that make everything like the focal range on them so shallow that like anything that's at a certain distance from the camera that's in focus, everything else behind it is just blurred. The whole movie, the backgrounds of the entire movie are almost just one big horrible blur because it's always focused so in such a shallow way on a specific range.
It's very artistic of him because that matches his writing style.
Oh, John. Like, and the thing is, if he was to make a movie where that meant something, then that could make sense to use those lenses or specific scenes, but he uses them for the entire film, and it's just obnoxious and upsetting, and it hurts the eye.
See, all these things you're saying to me just sound like every Snyder movie that I've seen is just obnoxious and unsettling. I do not rate him.
He hasn't made it. I don't. Yeah, his films are too long and they're so boring. He's kind of like Michael Bay with less explosions.
Yeah.
And he does have explosions and he uses a lot of CG stuff in his films. But yeah, I haven't really liked a Zack Snyder movie.
No.
The first 300 movie was kind of watchable. And again, that Dawn of the Dead remake, I think the script in it was good.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm just like James Gunn a lot. I like James Gunn's style.
Yeah.
So you can recognize that in there. But again, it's not
one
necessarily...
thing's for sure. He's no Sidney Lumet.
He's no fucking Sidney Lumet. Goddamn
not
right.
even fucking close.
Goddamn right. So I'm sticking with... I think Exterminating Angel is my pick. Although 12 Angry Men is so good. It's brilliant.
I could convince you, but it's we need to push on here.
Yeah, so which of these movies gives us the best advice for getting out of being trapped in a single room here? Because, Saw the solution. I mean, Carrie Elways, I'm just going to straight up say it. He had to chop his fucking foot off.
I don't want to do that.
Up. And I'm assuming, again, I don't remember much about the sequels, but I am assuming he didn't make it. Because he looks like he's at death's door.
He does make it. He appears in one of the very
does he?
5 or 6 or something. Yeah.
I didn't get that deep. But
it's ridiculous. Again, this is what I mentioned earlier. You have to suspend your disbelief, ridiculously to a ridiculous degree with the later ones because people come back and you're like, what, and things like that. And even in the second one, I think it shows you his corpse, maybe it's something like that. I don't know, but
there is another guy who's left to die. Yeah,
but
who the fuck knows? So I don't know if that's a good solution. I'm not above chopping bits off you.
Oh.
If that'll help us get out of here.
Well,
12 Angry Men, they had to use rationale and reason to come to a decision.
Yeah,
which I'm a fan of.
Yeah, they had to make a unanimous decision.
Yeah.
So we could do that. Exterminating Angel, they just repeated what they did the first day. or something.
Yeah, they do weird. It's like she's assuming it's almost like time loop stuff. They do play with a bit of time loop stuff at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
There's a point where the chefs go to leave. And and they see that or maybe it's not the chefs, maybe it's like it's two maids or something. Actually, I think they're on their way out the door, and they get to the front door, and then they see that all the bourgeois people are coming, and they panic and run and hide.
Yeah,
and the bourgeois people come in, and then they're like, "Oh, where's whatever the butler's name is?" They're like, "Oh, he's not here because he's away dealing with the problem of all the staff leaving."
Yeah,
so he's not there. And they go, "Oh, he's not here to take our coats. Oh well, we'll just make our way in," and they do that. Then those two people go to leave again, and that sequence happens again.
Yeah.
They go, oh, and they see the people coming again, and then they run in and they hide, and they come in and they say the same things, and then they head in and they go inside. So there is a weird broken time thing going on, but again, it never gets explained what that is. And the way they get out, the way they approach that is like, let's do all the things that we were doing, but then we'll decide to go instead of deciding to stay this time. And then they do, and it does break the spell, as it were.
Yeah. If it was a spell.
It's so... Exactly. See, that's the problem, is it's so confusing about what's happening and what fixes it.
Yeah.
That it's hard to sort of judge any practical sort of mechanics there.
It could be some, like, weird group delusion or something.
Aye. So, I don't know. I mean... To be honest, even if these people who set this up are stupid, I think if we start chopping our feet off, John.
Oh right, I thought we were going the rational decision approach and just like
rational. I left irrational at the door.
Sweet.
Like if we start chopping off our feet, they'll have to call us an ambulance.
Throw them at the door.
Just throw them at the door and be like, yeah, they'll have to call us an ambulance. So, I mean, there's plenty of sharp objects in here. Again, they did not think of this too sensibly.
No.
There's steak knives and a spoon. You can have... Do you want the spoon or the steak knife?
I feel a lawsuit coming on.
Yeah. Do you want the spoon or the steak knife?
I'll go for the spoon.
Okay, here you go. There you go. Well, I mean, you could probably carve it at the edge at a nice point, right? So, I'm going to get... Oh, that's smarts. Right, so as we're hacking through our limbs here to get out of this small room...
I'll just have to tap Mang until it breaks, I think.
No problem. That's good. You just blunt force trauma. That's a thing. So we are on Twitter. We are at 7 Day Apocalypse. That is at numeral 7 Day Apocalypse. You can email us on filmcast at thisweeksapocalypse.com. That is filmcast at thisweeksapocalypse.com. We also post full episodes to YouTube. We will not be posting a video of this because it will be too gruesome. But the audio will certainly be up.
Yes.
Oof, that's smart. So, John, I don't know. I'm already at the bone here, and I'm starting to feel really good. That might be the delirium or the opiates.
You're looking a bit grim.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll be fine, and we will be back probably next week. Maybe not 100. Maybe not all of us, but most of us will be back next week. So, bye!